So I brought my child to put into the capture volume. So yeah, thanks again, Steve, for an amazing presentation about just a little bit about what's going on at Microsoft with video holograms. Continuing with the theme of augmented reality and virtual reality and so on, the next speaker, Jay Kim, will be telling us about some innovations involving smart glasses. So we're very fortunate to continue this theme, and maybe August can tell us what he thinks of that. All right. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Microsoft and Magic Leap and the baby. I don't know. Yeah, these are three really, really tough hacks to follow, I think. So I'm going to do my best. A lot of what's been presented, I think, really deals with awesome content and awesome stuff. What I'm here to talk about is what my company called APX Labs is doing in the enterprise AR space, and specifically kind of drilling down into a form factor of devices called smart glasses. And just to start, I'd like to actually start with showing a really short clip on how one of our customers is using Google Glass and AR in their wire harness assembly operations.
Okay, Glass, start a wire bundle. Number 201.
So this is a very, very high-level example of a real-life use case of how these things are being used today. Obviously, with that dark screen kind of at the top corner of the user's eye, this is far from Minority Report. This is far from Terminator Vision. But as Microsoft and Magic Leap are also showing in the forms of videos, it's not too unreasonable to think that there's a lot just around the corner from where we're going. But right now, where businesses are finding the most amount of value in smart glasses, and then more broadly within the AR context, is delivering the information that they already have in the systems that they have spent billions and billions of dollars and decades of time building. In case of Boeing, imagine how much workflow actually exists within their databases, and getting that to the people where the work is being done, and for people to be able to access that in a heads-up and hands-free fashion. Really, really powerful concept. And from a market opportunity perspective, and these are numbers just within the US across 4 representative industries. Obviously, there's a lot more industries where this can scale up to. We're talking about 12 million people that can access technology like this, even in the crude and rudimentary way that I just showed you in the previous short clip, of being able to deliver, again, information based on the user context, which is where the vision piece comes in, because vision plays a role in being able to drive enhanced knowledge of user context, and to be able to deliver things like next-generation user interfaces and heads-up and hands-free access to information. You can do that in logistics settings where, for example, a picker is in a warehouse. Similarly, in a field service type of an environment, if I'm out there servicing wind turbines, I don't necessarily want to have to go up to each of the different panels and systems to be able to access data. I can now do that by looking at the different kinds of devices that are out there. And then, of course, in healthcare, the savings are obvious. The obvious upside is that you could be saving lives. Automotive manufacturing, complex assemblies, and things like that is where we as a company have seen the most amount of traction in, because the return on investment associated with this kind of technology can be most easily quantified. So if you're saving seconds off of a simple task, if you're reducing the error rate of a complex assembly that you're doing, so you don't have to go and get rework done, there's a very obvious dollar amount that's attached to all of this. We're big fans of Hololens. As far as the devices that have been announced, and I've been fortunate to recently try it on at Build. From a sensor technology, this is one of the most powerful kinds of sensor spanning hardware, software, and the integration of both into a wearable form factor. And I can't stress that last part enough. It's really, really impressive what Microsoft has done, essentially jamming in, a couple of Kinects worth of sensors, along with, advanced cameras and IMUs and other kinds of radios and processors, and actually make it wearable. That singularly is the biggest challenge that a lot of the industry players that have tried to have a product offering in the smart glasses space have faced, is that it's really, really, really hard to be able to cram in the requisite amount of sensors to gather the proper user level context, and then to be able to have it be, somewhat comfortable. Maybe this isn't a mainstream consumer device just yet, but certainly within the context that we play, which is in the industrial applications, there's a lot of appetite for this specific form factor and the capability that this offers. So this is tremendously exciting for us. So, we basically consider this as far as the state of the art goes today as the most advanced device that's out there. I mean, just imagine, look at the number of cameras that are there. It's impressive. From an optics perspective, optics has been a little bit of a chicken and the egg problem, in a sense that some of these things that I'm about to show you they have existed. It's just that it's been really, really hard to be able to drive the price point and scale to a point where this can be deployed in mass. So today what we have is really simple prisms like you find in Google Glass. So, light bounces just off of a reflector, and then a polarizing beam splitter basically just mixes that external light with the light that's being driven from the projector. Most common and probably the cheapest form that you can get to a heads-up display or an AR kind of a device, but obviously you're getting Coke bottle-like kinds of glasses. You probably don't want that in front of your eyes. And then you've got a product like Epson, for example, which is a reflective waveguide, still somewhat thick, but at least you're able to collapse the lens and effectively drive the field of view to be able to go something that is a little bit more over your eyes. So if you think about these optics as something that's going to have a 13 to about 23 degrees field of view, that's still not a compelling user experience, any way you look at it. So if we go to HoloLens, then you've got now stereoscopic displays with the right kinds of sensors that are able to do accurate overlays over somewhat of a limited environment. And of course, specifications around the optics and the parameters are not public yet. But the overall user experience that is being driven, coupling with vision and optics technology, is a generational leap ahead of what we had seen so far to date. And then, of course, you've got Magic Leap and the very neat, fiber-based modulation that they're doing, where they're able to portray depth. Again, still not something that I know all that much about, and I was hoping to find out, but apparently not. Yeah, so this is where the technology is going, and really, at the end of the day, the goal is to be able to drive a lot of these optics and collapse it into, something that's not too unlike the set of glasses that I'm wearing. Let's talk about what this all means more broadly. You've got smart glasses, from our perspective, is basically just a way to add a human element back into industry buzzwords like Internet of Things and big data analytics. IoT generates a glutton of connected sensors spewing out real-time data at orders of magnitude higher than what we're dealing with today. And then, of course, the analytic systems are going to have to keep up to be able to make sense out of all of this. Where we see AR and smart glasses writ large is coming into is being able to provide an interface and a mechanism for users to be able to interact with those objects and to be able to get those analytics into and do that using the most natural user interface. And fundamentally, there's value in that in the enterprise today, around the form factors that are either existing today, around the workflow that exists today, and then not too far from here, we're also talking about these form factors from large companies that are getting to the glasses type of a fashion. There's no question in our minds that consumer adoption of this technology is also around the corner. So it's the start of a very, very exciting market. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay, very much.